Hello, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys, where we teach the little guy and girl how to utilize charts to manage their own trades and investments. What do I mean by the little guy and girl? Well, we just had two directives signed halting the implementation of a rule that requires financial advisors to act in the best interests of their client. Let that sink in a little bit. The big wigs on Wall Street can play with your retirement and hard-earned money without your best interests at heart. We currently have hundreds of members taking charge of their financial future, and we would love for you to come check out a free week with no credit card required to see if our services would be beneficial on your path to financial independence as well. What we offer, we have a separate course of over 5 hours in length on when to enter and exit positions. And in terms of what we do daily, we have nightly videos, key levels updated each morning before the bell, 2.5 hours of live daily webcam coverage in the morning and in the afternoon, and over 7 hours of educational videos. All of these links can be found in the description of this video. Come check us out. Thanks for watching. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Checking in on the semiconductor sector, AMD, NVDA, and MU. So AMD, a big time pullback today after a gap down open. It was a gap down and dump. And we knew the momentum was favoring the bears as we closed at the low of the day the previous day after a bearish break of the inside candlestick. Loss of the middle Bollinger Band. The must-hold support level for the bulls is 1260 to maintain the higher low pattern on the daily. This is a very important support level to watch next week. We have filled the gap to the downside at 1314. There was a gap here. A little bit of the bulls buying the dip, but not significant in any way. It's not a bullish reversal candlestick, and we're not too far off from that low of the day, 1279. So 1279 is support. 1260 is the must-hold support on the daily, and we have all kinds of resistances to be watching. The first being the hourly 20 period. Whenever I judge a bounce, I look for an oversold bounce with the RSI oversold on the hourly time frame, and we can judge whether it's a weak bounce or a strong bounce as to whether or not the bulls can turn that 20 period hourly into support on the first attempt. So the weekly time frame, big bearish reversal candlestick, volume shows a ton of profit taking and a close at the low. There's that 1260 low, and if 1260 breaks, we're looking down at the weekly middle Bollinger Band, which is going to be in the mid $10 range and rising. So that's why the bulls really want to hold 1260. On the daily time frame after 1260, I'm looking down at 1238 and 1204. So we're seeing a pretty significant jump from percentage points from each support level on the way down, which is why the bulls really want to hold 1260. NVDA, we've been playing NVDA bearish, and it's been fairly easy to in terms of knowing which direction to look towards, and that's because of volume. We knew this bear volume had us to be looking for lower highs and bearish entries on any bounce attempts, and we've seen some nice lower highs and lower lows. Same thing on this last bounce attempt. This was an hourly oversold bounce. The RSI got low. We saw that. We saw the bulls starting to reverse things, and so we saw some decent follow through, but it was a decrease in bull volume, and it was just another lower high. We rejected from the hourly 100 period resistance 2 days in a row, which had us get that nice bearish entry and see further movement to the downside. So we closed on Thursday down at the low of the day. We saw the range tightening. The volume was dropping off, showing that tightening range. Bear break on Thursday on increasing volume, closing at the low, and we saw another flush to the downside today. So we've been playing this very nicely bearish, but we saw the hourly RSI get oversold again. We have a bullish reversal Dragonfly Doji on the daily time frame. A green day. We'll confirm it on Monday. Last hourly oversold bounce lasted 2 days. We'll be looking for some follow through to the upside. I'm going to be watching the hourly 100 period resistance, which rejected the price twice on that last bounce attempt and was our guide for bearish entries. And I'm going to be watching the 8 period exponential moving average resistance here on the daily, which rejected those levels as well. So a couple resistance levels to be watching. Bulls are in control in the short term, but I do still like the bearish potential here on NVDA as long as this bounce attempt forms a lower high compared to 105.20. We did hold the low of support. We had 95.70 as support, and we bounced off 96.22. So we do have a higher low now, and if we were to be able to break 105.20, we would have a higher low and a higher high, and the bulls would look to change this trend on the daily time frame. But as of right now, that would require a 7% move to the upside, which is going to take a lot of work for those bulls. Weekly time frame for NVDA, inside candlestick this week compared to last week. And what stands out is the volume. Look at the bull volume for the month that we are heading up towards the top. Look at the bear volume on the month on the way down. The middle Bollinger Band support of 96.65 is going to be key. Next week, that should be in the low $97 range. If we see a bearish break of this inside candlestick and break 96.22, we will likely lose the middle Bollinger Band support. We will see this bearish TCG cross of the 4-period exponential moving average down, crossing the 8-period to the downside. For the first time in over a year, that's going to be a bearish signal, and we're already got that bearish MACD cross. So a very important weekly middle Bollinger Band to be watching this coming week, but the bulls do have some momentum as we head into Monday with that close up near the highs. MU got an upgrade today, and it did not see any of the downside that the other two names were seeing. We saw an all-out dump in those names, but here's MU closing higher high and breaking out above the upper Bollinger Band. So MU is the weakest of the three with regards to their weekly charts because NVDA and AMD are coming off of all-time highs, whereas MU, if you look at the weekly time frame, right here you look at it and you say, oh, we're seeing a very strong move on the weekly, and we are up. That's actually the daily time frame. So let's go to the weekly. But the weekly, if you zoom out to a couple years, you can see that we have tons of resistance in terms of previous price action, as we are looking at the next resistance level on the weekly time frame up at 26.63, 28.62, 29.78. You could pick a dozen resistance levels on the way up here, but this weekly chart, look at that volume, big bull volume spike, continuation to the upside, higher low, higher high pattern continues. So the MU bulls have some nice momentum. We just need to be cautious as we have 3 gap up in a row on the daily time frame. 3 gap ups is a bearish reversal pattern. It signifies the bulls have extended themselves to the upside, and we need some normal healthy consolidation. So keep an eye out for a bearish reversal candlestick on Monday to indicate that that normal healthy consolidation is coming after those 3 gaps to the upside. So that's what we're looking at heading into next week. NVDA has been a nice bear, but again, oversold hourly bounce is underway. Going to be stalking an oversold hourly bounce on AMD, looking for a similar type move on NVDA. Should see a few percentage points to the upside once that does get underway. And if the bulls can hold 1279 on Monday and form a higher low compared to that level, we will look for them to form a bullish reversal candlestick on the daily. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon.